Good morning, good morning. What's up today? What's all the emotes here? Good morning, gang. Good morning, gang. I have good news and bad news. The good news is I'm here. We're fine. I remembered. It's up and running. The bad news is I stuffed my face. I just had breakfast like within the space of 30 seconds. I suspect it's going to get noisy. What have we got today? What have we got today? Everything's all moved around because I moved all the bench because of all the video production the last couple of days. Everything's been totally moved around. The bench is in a new position. I try to get it back where it used to be, but it's impossible to get it all back. After doing that last video down here for a change, everything's moved around. Turn off the inside mic and turn up the outside mic. I do have an inside mic. I think it's okay. We'll see. Let me know. The outside mic is on this morning, so no paper to take out. The paper is to take out, and it's out 3 packs this morning. Things change, you know. A few days ago I said there was no dots on the refrigerator for the rest of this week, but people email and whatever, they change their plans. Today, Dei-chan is up there printing, and Ishikawa-san, she's already there. She came while I was still in bed this morning. Luckily, I got up here in the middle of the night to do something, and I remembered she had emailed me, take my paper out. So her paper was out, and she's printing upstairs. She's doing her dog book, the cover for one of her dog books, volume 5, and then also some printing for us. So it's both ways. When I don't eat, it's noise. Get breakfast, get breakfast, get breakfast. But when I stuff my face, it's worse. I don't know. No idea. The weather is another gray, overcast day. We had a bit of sunshine yesterday, a bit of blue sky. When's the last time you saw blue sky on this stream? Never. Never. It's gone. Our beautiful autumn weather that used to be here. But at least there are no typhoons this year, not around where we are here. So. It's all blue sky in the Tokaido prints. So late for school? No idea. Enthusiastic. Okay, so what have we got today? Today is going to be the same sort of stream we've had the past couple of weeks. I will be slowly working my way through the leaves and greenery down here, where there's a bird waiting for us here. And I have a pile of stuff that's built up for show and tell. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 packages here. We're not going to open all 4 packages. I'll hold some in reserve. But there is stuff for show and tell today. Actually, some of the stuff for show and tell too, it's not collection type stuff. It's stuff that's coming through for the shop. So anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. Let's do some carving. I'll try and check in with you guys now and then. Whether I should move the microphone or not, I don't know, but whatever. The last few days was fun with the video stuff, you know. When that new print set came in the other day, it was clear that it needed to have a video done for it just right away. There was no point in waiting and months later trying to schedule it. It just made sense to just clear the decks and do it right away. So. It was perhaps a bit disappointing for Cameron to see that video yesterday because he's got some stuff prepared for me. He's got a deck of footage, like a 30-minute or so presentation from the mulberry supplier. And he's been waiting for months for me to spend time and get a narration for it and stuff like this. But so he had thought when I was spending time on a video the last few days, he had assumed it was his video that I was working on, and I didn't actually get that done. So. Oh, I know. Something else I meant to mention to you before we start the stream today, before we get going on the stream today. Something else I meant to mention. I need to throw you something to keep you occupied here. Just one second, let me get this piece of wood out of here. Okay, something I did, oops. Am I off the camera here? Where am I? Okay, something I didn't mean to mention. I've got to look up one URL here. Hang on one second. I've got something I want you to work on while I'm working here. Not a puzzle for you, but let's see. Just one sec. It's related to the video that just went up the last couple of days, that very small set of Tokaido prints. I mentioned during the video that the company who made them is still in existence, and they have a history page on their website. I'm going to link to it now. Here's the history page. It's all in Japanese, so there's not much you can read for the text here. But they show some pictures of the blocks. I mentioned this. They showed pictures on their website of what very much seemed to be the blocks from the series that we put in this new video. But there are two really, really interesting things. Karen, you're a printmaker here. Get on this. Take a look at those pictures of those wood blocks. And there's two very interesting, very strange, very unusual things about those wood blocks. And absolutely, Aoyama-san and I, we have to contact that company. And I may be, if they say yes, I'll be taking a trip down there because I want to see those blocks. So it's up to you. While I'm sitting here carving, those of you who know something about woodblock printmaking and things like this, take a look at the photographs you see on that page. They're not so big, but they're very carefully taken photographs. What's strange and unusual about those blocks? Too deeply here. Okay, where have we done here? This is done. Move down, I guess. Let's get this done. Okay, lots of discussion here. Registration marks, registration marks. What it seems is the key blocks have what's called soto kento, outside registration. There are no corner marks cut on the key blocks that are visible there, but they do have on each corner, looks like a nail mark. And my guess is that there's an outside jig. The key block slides into the outside jig, and it's done by holding it down. And my first guess, before I've seen these blocks, my first guess is that the key blocks could have been printed in some kind of a press. Not for sure, because the key blocks there are all black, which implies that they're brushed with pigment. But one guess is they could be printed the normal way, but they could also, the key blocks only, could be printed in a press. They're definitely carved. These are not metal blocks reproduced photographically. They're definitely carved, and you can see them when I look at the prints close up. You can see clicks and pops where the knife has come. But the key blocks could be printed in a press. The color blocks are all normal, they've got registration marks, but all the registration marks on the color blocks are backwards. I have never, ever, somebody maybe has mentioned this or not, I don't know, I can't see all the comments here. But the registration marks on the set of color blocks that we see there are all backwards. Normally, for right-handed printers, I'll zoom out a bit here. For right-handed printers, the corner mark is on the right-hand side. The paper goes in there. You put it down with your left hand, and you let go with your right hand and do the rubbing. So for right-handed printers, the registration mark should be on the right-hand side. And that's been the standard in Japan since the beginning of all this stuff started. There's no two systems here. There's no system for left-handed printers to put it the other way around, because blocks get printed by many, many different people. Dave follows the standard pattern so that his blocks can be printed easily by anybody. Even though I'm left-handed, I do it backwards. But those blocks are backwards. And it's not like the photograph is reversed. That's possible too, but the photograph is actually the normal way around. Is it on the right side of one of them? Whatever, I can't see the whole page. The picture that was at the top left, whatever, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of color blocks there with the registration marks the wrong way around. And there's a huge, I want to get hold of those things, get a look at them and see what's going on. You can't register on more than one place for any given print. It's got to be always exactly the same corner of the piece of paper. And I first thought, okay, it's a flipped photograph, it's a reversed photograph, but it's not. In one of those pictures there, you can see some prints, the correct orientation. You can see the key block, which is reversed orientation, and the color blocks, which are reversed orientation, and they're backwards. So someone's saying, one of the color blocks has the correct one. Okay, that's good, but there are blocks on that page that are backwards. And there's a huge, what is going on? What is going on? I accept that some of them could have been printed in a press, the key blocks. There's also something else that came up. I haven't talked about this in the video yet, and I didn't bring it down to show you. The day after that, I should carve while I'm talking about it to get some work done. The day after that set of prints arrived, remember, this was all new to me. I'd never seen that publisher before. This is really quite a rare item. I'd never seen that publisher, never seen these things before. But after it did arrive, I then started doing, as I said, I started doing more research, hunting around, seeing what I could do. I phoned up Ueda-san to see if he heard about this guy, and I searched for some more prints. And it turned out that again on Yahoo Auction, a couple of days after that book arrived, more prints from the same set, from the same seller, came up on auctions. Now, there's a real frustrating part about Yahoo Auctions here, in that they have, because of Japanese government regulations now, they are super, the privacy thing has become a big deal. I get the packages from people in the post office, and the sender's name is hidden. You never know who you're dealing with. Now, before you bid, I get it. The sender's name and address are hidden, your name and address are hidden. Everybody's bidding and dealing with the Yahoo supplied handle names. We can't see each other's identity. But even at the point where goods are being shipped, the seller can choose to mask his identity, and the package arrives from the post office with no return address and no name. That's the new system here to help protect and preserve privacy. So I have no idea who this is. I'm paying the money through the Yahoo system. I'm not paying directly to the guy's bank account. So we have no way to contact the sellers. So anyway, so long story short, as I said, the same seller put up more prints from this set, this time some individual prints. Now I want to talk to this guy. I want to see, what have you got? Let me come over, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the way the system works. So all I can do is I bought those as well. There were 20 of them, 20 individual prints from this same series. Same publisher, same backing, same everything, no album, just simply 20 individual prints. And that's really, really interesting because it gives me now the same print in more than one version, and you can really compare them and try and figure out how these things were made. And one of them, the one of the sumo wrestlers being carried across the river by the skinny guys, it has different color blocks. The key block is the same, microscopically identical the same, but the color blocks are different. So either it was done like the Couchier prints were done with a metal key block and multiple color blocks, or the key block simply lasted a long time and the color blocks wore out quickly and were replaced. And my bet is for the latter one, because going by the photographs on our website, you can see it's a wooden carved key block. And I'm going to stick my neck out and guess before I have a chance to see those key blocks. I'm thinking they were probably going to be laminated construction. A lighter wood on the bottom, laminated with boxwood on the top. But I don't know. We'll see. I really, really want to get down there and see those things. Like we have nothing else to do, though, you know. And even just that company is in Kyoto, but even just to get on the train and go to Kyoto and come back, we're looking at nearly $400 for the return trip on the Shinkansen. $350 or something. It's just crazy. You just can't do that. How could I tell the photo wasn't flipped? Because the orientation of the finished prints is, no, there's the bridge, there's the writing, the prints are. Yeah, the idea about the press thing, this is the deal. Because we're seeing multiple color blocks, but a single key block. So that means the key block was subject to less wear, or it was a material that wore out less. So it could be metal, but these are not metal key blocks, they're wood. So the printing method subjected the key blocks to less wear. That's one of the reasons why I was thinking it's lightly done in a press. Just rolled ink, roll, roll, kiss, roll, roll, kiss. And most of those prints, if you saw the close-ups, you can see the key blocks are printed very, very lightly, very lightly. So that's really, I'm thinking, the key blocks are done in a press lightly, the color blocks. Okay, question. The bumps in the corner of the key block. Yeah, I think it's nails. I think it was nailed down to a base and done this way, nailed down into the bottom of the press. I've got a foreign passport. No, I'm a resident. They're not that stupid. You can't do that. It's only tourists, only tourists. No discount flights for me. Although I suppose these days with all the internal travel stuff that's going on to go to Japan, that is on a discounting travel, I'm a resident, so I suppose I'm eligible for that. I haven't investigated, so. But I don't get the tourist discounts. That's literally only for tourists. It's not a foreigner's discount, it's a tourist's discount. Anyway, the company down there might not even agree to let me have a look at those things. You know, I haven't written to them yet. It's just been too busy this week. But that's next online. Give those guys an email first, then a phone call. And you could imagine where the conversation is going to go. What I will do, if I do get a chance to see those guys, I will take with me some of the old Takamizawa blocks we have, the pre-war Takamizawa blocks. And I will take some of the prints that Kawai-san made, like the one I showed in that video. Beautiful, beautiful prints we made from the old blocks. And you can well imagine the proposal I will make to those guys. Might not fly though, you know, they are Kyoto. We'll see. It's not like we're not busy. God, just everything comes up, you know. What's the Oshibori man outside, is it? The Oshibori people? I didn't even hear the truck come. This is crazy, you know, I can't follow. You got a good conversation going on here, but I can't be part of it. I need I need a wingman here, Cameron, to be here to help me with this conversation, you know. I can't catch this all. I'm sorry. No idea. I can't catch it all. I don't need a funny sidekick. I just need a sidekick to help me to follow the conversation and toss me the important points so that I can be part of the flow of conversation. You know, there was an idea. I know. Don't jump on this because I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But one idea is, when is a topic like today? There was pictures for you to look at, pictures for you to discuss and look at. It wouldn't be a bad stream for me to be part of that. In other words, if it wasn't the carving stream, there was something on display to talk about, like a show and tell stream that was actually, you know, interactive. So I don't know, and I would be talking to you and seeing the chat and showing something and talking about it, instead of what I'm trying to do here is trying to do both, trying to carve, which really doesn't get done, and trying to follow the chat, which really doesn't get done. So there might be, you know, a better way to do these, and I don't know. The best way really is the sidekick system. You know, we had it there when we did that 3-hour video. I made it print start to finish. Cameron was here. He could ride the chat, keep me in touch with what was going on. It was the best system, really. But at the moment, just we have no way to do that. So. I mean, Cameron could join the chat from his home, but it wouldn't solve the problem because he can't talk to me, you know. The other day, last Monday it would be, Kira-san was here to do work on the flea market, and partway through the day I went into the room where she was doing the scanning and stuff, and she was doing her scanning, and you know, she sits there, hits the button and waits while the thing does its work, and then over to Photoshop and stuff. So a lot of her time is just sort of spent sitting there, punching buttons and punching buttons. So she had her phone on a desk in front of her, and she was watching, I thought it was an anime or something, whatever. It turned out what she was watching was a Twitch stream. And it was something that I'd never seen before. It was a Twitch stream where two women were talking about, it was, I guess, about anime or something. But you couldn't see the human beings. What you saw were avatars. And the avatars were something, you know, what's the deal where you pin the avatar to your body, and when you move your arm, the avatar moves its arm and stuff like that. I guess whatever people know about that, the one that's going on. So these two young ladies were sitting chatting in a room, but we couldn't see them. All we saw were two anime characters sitting chatting. And Kira-san was showing me how that was working, and I compare that with the Twitch stream that we run here. You know, you can imagine doing the same thing that you're watching. You're sitting here watching an anime. This guy with a beard, an animated character, sitting carving these things. I don't know. I'd never seen that before. I watched for a few minutes with her, and it got kind of, it was kind of bizarre. It was kind of strange, you know. But I guess we're getting to that point where you really can't tell the difference anymore between what's live and what isn't live, and what's you know. But also I thought, if they can do that, if technology can do that accurately, what we saw was, you know, two women, the arms were moving, the faces were moving, the facial expressions were there, and it was all happening apparently in real time. So why do people need to make animated films anymore? Just you simply do this tracking stuff with real bodies, and you don't need to draw your cells and stuff anymore. So. It was insane, absolutely insane. I guess whatever, people are probably already linking to it. It's a known thing, but it was the first time I'd ever seen that. So. Virtual, I get, what would it be called? A virtual stream? I don't know. But the other thing I saw there that I found, I can't say I found it disturbing, but it was strange. There was a chat window open. Kira-san was listening to the conversation of these two girls, these two women. She saw the avatars moving, and at the side of the Twitch was a chat, like the one we've got here. But as I sat there next to Kira-san and watched it, the chat went so quickly, zoom, 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 junk, 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 junk. It went so quickly that nobody could read it. And I guess even when you posted your own something into the chat, you couldn't even see it. So I asked Kida-san, what's the point? Can you read that? She says, no, it's too fast, I can't read it. I'm like, why is it there? Why are people typing into it? What does it mean? If nobody can read it and nobody sees it, why is it there? VTubers, VTubers. VTubers, is that it? Virtual reality streaming. So here's a link here. Good, good. I'll look up some of this. But I know some years back there was what was it here in Japan? There was a live. No, Nico Nico Doga Toka. I forget the name of it. It was a live video thing, a chat thing. And what they did with their chat, instead of the chat being in a window scrolling up, the chat stuff came across the front of the video. And you had people like, wah, 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 and these things rolled streaming sideways across the front of the video. And the more people that did this, the more it came so you couldn't even see what was going on anymore. And it was a real, maybe it's still there, I don't know, it's a real thing. So I don't know, at least here there's sensible, some kind of conversation. Mr. A says something, B replies, A says something back again. Other people listen and watch and join in. I get this makes sense. But the one I saw on Kira's desk, that's why I was kind of nervous about this Twitch channel. If it did become more popular, I don't know if that would be a good thing. In fact, I know it wouldn't be so cool. I mean, I feel like I know a bunch of the people out there. Some of them I do. Some of you I've met in real life, so I know who you are. Some others are just a name on the chat here. Some I don't recognize. New names come, and then after a while they become more familiar, and then they drop out for a while. It's an actual, it matches the kind of community that I know about in real life, of course, But my God, the one she showed me on Monday, blah, blah, blah. There's sort of two contradictory things going on here. I'm this old dude. We get this comment on the YouTube channel quite a lot. People will comment, wow, for an old dude, he seems sure hip about video and blah, 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 like whatever. Well, one, I'm not that old, but two, I get the idea, I'm not 22 anymore, so but still, both things are true for me, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm doing this stuff, but also a lot of it, I just don't get it, I just don't get it. So both things are true at the same time, And it's going to be interesting for me moving forward over the next few years, the point where I really lose it and where I don't get it. The internet and social media moves to a situation where just it leaves me behind and I don't want to follow. It's a little bit that way now with Twitter, actually. I mean, Twitter is not anything brand new anymore, but Twitter for me, I'm not going to go there. That's, to me, social media where I think, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. There's sort of nothing there for me. I can let that one go by. But when it gets to the point where all the social media is giving me the same response, no thanks, I don't want to be part of that, then I guess that's where Dave just fades away into the sunset, I suppose, I really don't get Twitter. I really don't get it. put it, what we got here? Just today's first delivery. どうもありがとうございます。Thank you. はい、どうも。
送りますね。
はい。
はい、どうも。
Thank you. The top box is from one of our printers. I can't see the bottom box. It's the usual, these are the usual deliveries back and forth. I send blocks to the printers, they send back blocks and paper. We've had the past couple of days, there's one I really wanted to show you, but I couldn't hold it. It had to go to Ome. It's the November print, the November subscription print. The first batch of 140 copies came back from Kubota-san and blew me out of my chair. Blew me out of my chair, but I couldn't hold them. They had to go to Ome because it's shipping November 1st. What we thought was going to be the most boring print of the year. Is Jed listening? Is Jed here? Whatever. What I thought was going to be one that, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? It's going to be the killer print of the year. I'm ignoring, missing, sorry. Hi. I'm sorry, but I start conversations and I get things going, but I don't take part in them. I'm sorry. Technical question, how deep do we go? Deep enough to read, whatever. The wider apart, if the lines are really close, just the cut with this tool alone will pop out the V and you're good to go. The wider the lines become, the V doesn't match anymore and you've got to take out the middle part. The wider they go, you've got to take out more of the middle so that the paper doesn't sag into the gap. So there's no general rule, but it's wider equals deeper to a point. It's not all the way down. But generally wider is deeper. Oh my God, I can't, I'm sorry. It's a November print, and I would show you if it was here, but I just had to send them through. In fact, I did embossing. They came from Kubota-san, and he doesn't put his name on. So I did, what's today, Wednesday? Today's Thursday. It would have been Tuesday afternoon. I spent most of Tuesday embossing Great Waves and picking Chitty and embossing Kubota-san's prints. And as I was doing it, I thought, I want to show you guys. Can't be done. So what's here today is, must be a back number. This is one of the JJ prints, I guess. I don't remember. No, somebody said it looks like one of those chats. I'll get partway through, I'll get about a third way through, I'll finish my sandwich, the work is waiting, and it's going to be like, sorry guys, bye. I don't know. What do we get ourselves into? As long as you're having fun, that's okay. But yeah, a sidekick. It was working well with Cameron up to last year, you know. He came in, he wasn't here at the beginning of each stream. He came in, you know, for the last half hour or so. And it worked really well. It was too bad, you know. I haven't seen him now for months. Cameron, of course, works at home. It must be mixed feelings for him. He may be listening here today, I don't know, whatever. So he's been working at home since March. And when I look at what he's doing, he's got a brand new family. He's got a new baby there that was born in April, I guess it was, March or April, I don't remember. So Cameron's in a relatively small house up there with one very rambunctious 3-year-old and a brand new baby. And we were sort of joking about that here. It's great for him. He can totally spend his time with his family. He just turns on the computer once in a while to do the programming. It's okay to do the processing. But he can prioritize family, which I guess is great. But we were joking here. We're waiting for the phone call from Cameron at one point. He's going to phone us, and in the background is 2 kids yelling and screaming, and his wife he says, when can I come back to work? I don't know. And so far, there's been no such call. I guess he's got the balance all worked out. I don't know. And who knows where we're going for the future? I have no idea. No idea. It's sort of in a holding pattern at the moment for Cameron. He's got this job, a good job. He can do it easily, but it's certainly not a career type job. He doesn't want to do order processing and emails for the rest of his career, of course, you know. But at the moment, given the world situation, I don't think he's complaining about it. So, but where do we go from here? Well, none of us know, so we'll see. Crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. If this was etching, it's simple. You just slice this, slice this, slice this, slice this, the cross. But this isn't etching, this is relief printing. So all of these have to be done backwards. We leave the black parts and take away everything else. I should pretend to watch the chat here and there, check in now and then. I see a black question. Are we thinking of contacting Fujisawa Mankado? Yes, of course we are. I mean, right now, today, this week, I'm busy, but yes, we are very much. We're going to drop an email first, then maybe a phone call. And if they say yes, me and Aoyama-san would like to go down there, inspect the blocks for an afternoon, take some video, maybe make another supplementary video. And one idea down the line, we would like to try printing them. But it's all whatever. Tuk, 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 tuk. Can't see it, can't see it, can't see it. My mother's in Treishi. Good morning, good morning. Is it? What is it? What's my mother's handle? I forget. It is hopeless. It is hopeless. How are we doing for time? 8:50, we're okay. So there's so much stuff we could show. We could just give this up and just show stuff all day long, but that wouldn't be a viable model for this stream. So I'll pretend to do my work here, and you can pretend to watch. Actually, it's funny though, you know. I really only do this carving job on the stream, and yet we're getting through this thing, you know. We're getting through this. It's going to be done. It's going to be done on time. even, what is it? It's like an hour and a half, 3 days a week. So what's that? That's 4.5 hours a week. Even at 4.5 hours a week, you can get stuff done. This print is going to happen. This is January's print. And it's this slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, you know, as long as you keep it up. Time he's talking, I'm sorry. You know, don't, it's the stomach. It's what I'm laughing about. I don't know what to do. I can move the mic somewhere else, but that spoils the other audio. It's just the time. It's a combination of the time of day. Plus, also, I'm hunched over in it. If I was sitting back, relaxed, something like this, there'd be probably no pressure. But because I'm hunched over on this bench, I guess it's just the combination of squeezing on your stomach. So sorry about that. Twitch live stomach streams. All these things I have no control over, you know. Same thing, we just put that video up. I just put that video up, what was it, yesterday? And already in the comments, you know, there's comments like, oh my God, the hair, and stuff like this, you know. YouTube comments are fun. Really, really, they're fun. I have absolutely no complaint. There isn't one in 1,000. Literally, there isn't one in 1,000 that's a bothersome comment, you know. I don't know, just something about that channel, you know. It's one of the, I don't know, can I say this? I guess it's true. It's one of the pleasures of life, you know, especially like yesterday when I put up that video. I didn't really think about what time of day to put it up. Just when it's finished, Dave, just put it up. I don't care about trying to maximize the viewership and do it when everybody in New York is awake or something like this. Our YouTube channel is a long-term thing, so it doesn't matter what time of day the video goes up. You know, people that are trying to get all the hits right away and all that kind of stuff, it's a big deal. They time it, but I don't time it. So as it happens, the one yesterday went up in the middle of the afternoon, and most of America was asleep, and 40% of the viewership on YouTube is from America. So when it went up, I didn't see many comments because it was only Europe that was awake at the time. So no problem. There was pleasant comments during the day, and it went. But then I went to bed, and when I woke up this morning, or got up for the first time to head for the bathroom at 6 o'clock, the video had now been open in North America for a long time. So there was dozens and dozens and dozens of comments. And we've mentioned this before. It's a great way to wake up. Sit there, grab a cup of coffee, and sit there and scroll through 1,000 people telling me how cool I am. But it's a very selected group. This isn't the random world, you know. It's people that were waiting for these videos. So. But it's just so much fun, you know, just so much fun. Is it dangerous? I don't know, you know. Do I get thinking too much of myself? Oh, wow, you're so good, blah, 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 because all these people are saying these neat things, you know. I guess it could be not so good for you, a bit dangerous, you know. I don't know. Now this part here, this leg of this bird is going to appear on this block. The feathers of the birds are not. They're going to be on a separate block because they will be in embossing. But the legs of the bird will be on this block. So I've got to remember what to leave and what to take off. But because I'm doing this by zones right now, we'll just sort of define this zone. We'll cut to here. I'll do this part, the leaves and grass and stuff, and we'll tackle the bird's legs later. But I got to remember, because it would be really easy as I'm clearing away around these leaves to clear away part of the leg by mistake. When you've seen me do that when I was doing the Patreon Chibi just a couple of months ago. I got confused with what part to leave and what part to keep. What part to leave and what part to clear. And I cut away some stuff that shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have been cut away. So still, you know, all these years of experience, and you still a little bit moments of carelessness, you can still screw up, you know. We talked about that white space on that Tokaido print to show the carver forgot and left a white part of the mountain. Didn't get it, and I think I tossed off in that video. Yeah, I've done this more times than I care about. And in the comments of this, somebody pointed out a place on the Fox Moon print, the one that I made for Jed. I cut the blocks for that one in 2012 or something, back when the first Kickstarter campaign was on. And somebody in the comments for this recent YouTube video pointed out, Dave, in your Fox Moon print, there's the same thing, right? Horinuki, a white space that's left over. I didn't remember this, but okay, let me go and look at this. I got one of the prints out and looked at it. And yes, there is. There's a white spot on that print that shouldn't be there. And I must have done the same thing as that publisher. When I did the test printing, shit, what are we going to do? There's a deadline, out she goes. And should I admit this or what? I must have said, whatever, no one's going to mention. And out it went. And here we are, 8 years later, it's biting me in the ass. Somebody has mentioned it and exposed to all the world how careless Dave was, you know. So... Interesting. John's got this, so few people, it's not socks, it's boots actually. The name of that cat actually was Mew-chan. The neighbors who, quote, owned that cat called her Mew-chan. And our name for her was Boots-chan. Not exactly the most, imaginative word. And in fact, I really screwed up with that name. We called her Boots. She was a black cat with white feet, so we called her Boots. And that was very much a mistake. Her name should have been Tabi. Bilingual pun, a black cat with white feet. Her name should have been Tabi. And I didn't get it. I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. So not socks, no. Boots was what it ended up being, but she should have been Tabi. She was fun, you know. She was really a lady, you know. I've been blessed, actually. There's three, you know, there's people who are dog people and people who are cat people, and I didn't really specifically choose this, but these three cats, there was 3 cats in my life. I say so far, but I think that's pretty much the end of it. There's been 3 cats in my life. One my mother will remember, if she's still here on the stream today, she will remember Robert. And she may pop in here and say things about her. So when I was a high school student, Robert was a member of our family. And then when my own children were young, we had a Mimi-chan. It was 3 girls, my daughter Himi, my daughter Humi, and then our cat Mimi. There was a gang of 3. And then when I bought my house in Ome in 2000, the neighbor's cat adopted me. I never fed her, she adopted me. And that was Boots. And all 3 of those cats were really quite special, interesting personalities. Very, very independent. Absolutely independent, which I guess is what I like about those creatures, you know. Not to take sides here, but what Dave here doesn't like about the dogs is the I'm your friend, take care of me, blah, blah, blah. You know, the cats are independent, and if you disappeared, they wouldn't even care. And I think that's what I like about it. They're good companions when they're there, but they're not needy. Well, if you forget the food thing. And those 3 cats have all been, they've really been an interesting, fun part of my life, you know. Boots especially, there's stories I could tell about Boots that sound bad, you know. She lived 2 doors down and she got fed 2 doors down. But they, in winter, they kept their house pretty tight. You know, most people do, of course, they close up their house. And Dave is the fresh air type. And even in winter, nothing to do with virus. This is going back to when I was a little kid. Even in winter, there's open windows. You keep the house a little bit. It's not, you don't want to keep it cold, but you want fresh air, fresh air, fresh air, fresh air. And my mother, whatever, she was big on that, and I guess I still am. It's in my DNA or in my training, whatever. So over in Omi there, I kept my house open. I might even keep the front door open during the day. The window always open. So for Boots, when she was locked out of her own house because it was all shut tight, she's over at my place. And of course, you know how a Japanese house works. There's a kotatsu, a hot, a table in the living room with a little light bulb underneath it to keep it warm. So the pattern in the winter evenings, it just year after year after year, those winter evenings were the same thing. Dave is sitting in his kotatsu. There's no central heating in my house at all. I'm sitting in my kotatsu, and Boots is there nearby with just enough of her body underneath it to get warm, and just enough of her body outside it so that she doesn't get smothered. Perfect for a cat, kotatsu. They're made for cats. It gets late in the evening, whatever, 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30, whatever. Dave's going to get ready for bed. And Dave's pattern, whatever, he flicks off the hot bulb under the kotatsu. And Boots thinks, okay, here we go. Dave is getting ready for bed. Dave then gets up and does his whatever. He heads to the bathroom, he does his teeth brushing, whatever. He's packed everything up. Boots then at that point moves to the bottom of the stairs. So Dave finishes brushing his teeth. All right, time to go to bed, whatever. I get to the bottom of the stairs, and Boots is waiting there. And this lady and I, we go up the stairs together. This is the daily routine. She knows what's coming up next. I open the bedroom door, and an hour or 2 hours before, I have put a hot water bottle into the mattress there, under the mattress. So Boots knows this. So she has gone up the stairs with me. I open the door, and that's it. Zoom. And she heads to try and get the warmest spot near the bottle, not too hot because it's too hot, not too cold. And we do the same thing every night. I get in there, I push her out of the hot spot with my feet. She complains and moves around to the second best spot. And this went on for years and years and years. So if I tell the story, there was this lady every night that went up the stairs with me to my bedroom, whatever, that's what it was, So she was so much fun. So much fun. And her family, the ones that really owned her, whatever, the ones that fed her, we had our understanding. They knew where she was, and it's the deal. We all know this. People don't choose cats; cats choose people. And Boots had decided she was going to spend X time per day over there, X time per day over here. They fed her. Sometimes they'd feed her in the morning, whatever, and they'd never see her again till the next morning when she shows up for food. And I went to talk to them when this pattern developed. I went to talk to them. I'm like, what are we going to do about this? Should I don't want to lock my doors. And they're like, yeah, I get it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. She'll choose to spend the time, wherever she chooses to spend, And I tried at one point to offer them some money for food and stuff because Boots was literally over at my place like 99% of the time. So I tried to, I guess I tried to adopt her by saying, look, can I at least pay for food and stuff? And they said, no, she's our family member. She's our family member, It's okay, no problem. I back off. But it was really fun. It was really fun. So exactly. So yeah, I had the benefits of this companionship. I didn't pay food. I didn't pay veterinary bills. I paid nothing. I tried to. My conscience is clear. I tried to. And they're like, no, she's our family member. So I get it. We were both right. I didn't expect them to give up and let me have the cat because she was a family member. But what are you going to do? We're okay. I'm not watching the time. Are we okay? What time is it here? 9:11. Okay, give me a few more minutes. Excuse me. Boots-chan, she passed away of old age, actually. She had a really, really full life. She was actually not young when I met her, when I moved there. She must have been already about like 5 or 6 years old or so when I moved there. So she was no spring chicken. And I knew her for about 10 years, so she must have died at about 15 years old, which for a cat, I think, is getting on there, really getting on. And it was funny. No, I'm not funny. It was interesting funny. At some point, she really started to go downhill. She limped, and one of her eyes went funny, and she was getting old. And we've now got a situation where she's not my cat, so I can't decide what to do about this sort of thing. And I was quite nervous, because sometimes Japanese families, who have an affection to a pet, they will hold on to this pet, by my standards, too long, where the pet can be actually perhaps in pain or having trouble. And the culture is quite different. They will just hold on right to the bitter end. Whereas my culture says if a pet is clearly, has no quality of life, and if there's pain involved, then you know what generally we do with this. And I had been really nervous about this, thinking that what I would like to do, what I would feel I had to do, and what they would do would be different. And it turned out that she got older and older and older, and there didn't seem to be any pain. She just seemed to be just running down. As far as you can tell, there was no crying, no complaining, just generally slowing down. And it got to a point where she wasn't really eating much anymore. She was staying over at their place, resting in their kitchen there, not even eating. And I hadn't seen her for a month or so. And one of the sons, the young boys, came over and he said, do you want to come and say hello to Boots? Because she can't really walk around much anymore. So I went over there and had a chance to look at her in her basket and said, how you doing, Boots-chan, and stuff like that. And she lifted her head up and, whatever. And then he said, I don't really want to tell you this, but we've decided that tomorrow we're going to take her to the vet, because clearly there's no, quality of life here. We're worried she might be in pain, whatever. So that's why he'd asked me over there, so that I could say thank you, So I said, okay, good, can I come tomorrow, so. And she didn't wait. She passed away that night. Interesting. She passed away that evening, so. So it turned out, turned out very well. But I think, what time is it? I think it's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. Okay, now I'm not quite sure what to show you here. There is an embarrassment of riches on my bench at the moment. We are really, these days, we are not spending much money at all on outside stuff. With that exception last week of that item I did go for, recently you have not seen any major purchases coming through here, because we're in the middle of a virus. Our business is closed, we're paying rent, patrons are helping us, so we're not doing frivolous purchasing for the most part at all. The stuff you've seen me buy on auctions has been the $5, $10 item, stuff like this. That one last week was a very special case. But this week, a bunch of stuff came up. Bing, 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 bing. 3 or 4 or 5 things came up on Yahoo Auctions. Some of them that might be nice items for our collection, and some I'm able to spend more money on because they are for the shop. They are things that we have. Then this auction here, is something that we already have in our collection. So I saw these prints on Yahoo Auction and thought, okay, this looks good. They look to be in good condition. We need these for the shop. So these are going to go. It's the packaging. The guy just wrapped it in this box. It's this. I've opened this. I saw what's inside. This is not an unboxing. He had brown paper outside this. I've heard about this thing actually. If this kind of stuff had existed when I was a kid, I would have killed for this. This week's stream brought to you by. I'd heard of this thing, but I'd never seen the details. What a box! Oh my God, what a box! Anyway, don't get sidetracked. What we have here inside the box. And this is a partial print set. I didn't open this part of it. This is from Takamizawa. We have these prints in our collection. It's a set of prints that was made in 1950, 52 or 53. I don't know, 52 or 53. Save the box. The box is a box. Is it a thing? So these prints were made in 1953. It's a known date from Takamizawa. This is when they are starting to come back together after the disruptions of the war, and they are still making good prints. This actually, I can't say it's peak time for Takamizawa, but it's good time for Takamizawa before they fell off the end. They ended in the 1980s. Takamizawa ended in absolute ignominy. They were bankrupt, they had gangsters chasing them, they had unpaid bills. I got a phone call one day from one of our paper suppliers, this being the mid-1980s, and said, Dave, like, what's up with Takamizawa? And I'm like, what do I know about Takamizawa? You know, and she's, they haven't paid their bills. And I'm like, well, I'm paying mine, you know, like she just said, you know, well, do you know what's going on? Do you know what's going on? Are we likely to get paid, you know? And I didn't know. I didn't know at all. So they ended in chaos. They went down and had debts and ended in chaos. And I have heard Asuka-san, my carver, the friend, he was one of their employees at the end. And he said after not being paid for X months, what the employees were doing was taking stuff home. And he took home a bunch of woodblock sets. He literally took woodblocks, carved woodblocks, out of the storehouse to take them home in sort of a because in case he didn't get paid, he'd get something back from it. And he said that one day over there was a truck rolled up outside and a bunch of literal gangsters, tattooed, pinkies missing, whatever. He said they cleaned the place out, took all the wood blocks, took them in a truck and drove away. That was the end of Takamizawa. So they ended in absolute chaos at the end. This is late 1980s. That might have been early 1990s by then. Anyway, so this came up on auction last week. This is from 1952 or 53. I was born in 51, so this stuff is almost as old as I am. And this is a very, very nice set, but this is totally broken and totally thrashed. It's a set of 30 prints. It's all ready. You can see what's happening. The album is broken. It's mostly empty. The guy on auction said there are only 5 prints left in here. And as I can see, so we have blank space, blank space, blank space. Let's have a look inside. Oops, what's this? That's not supposed to be in there. Wait. What's happening here? What's happening here? Oh, I see. Oh, wait. Chaos. Just a minute. The market was for 5 prints, and I'm already seeing a lot more than 5 prints. What's this? Oh, these are photocopies. Look at this. This is junk. These are not woodblock prints. These are photocopies of woodblock prints. He just threw them in. That's not. Yes, it is. That's a photocopy. Interesting. These are the real prints. So he just tossed these in as junk. Freebies, but they're useless. These are actual, these are offset printed reproductions of prints. Look at those later, nothing for us. These are the 5 prints. And this is high quality stuff. As I said, this is before Takamizawa fell off the end of the pier. These are nice, and we already have these in our collection. So these are going to be scanned. They're going to go up on Kida-san's bench. She will scan and put them into the collection online. Very, very nice. This is, oops. It would have been nice to be doing this on camera, wouldn't it? Sorry about that. Takamizawa's deal with a set like this, it was a 2-part set of 50 prints, 25 and 25, and it was a history of ukiyo-e. So what they did was they showed stuff like this. This would have been a print that in the old days was printed from a key block and then hand painted. And Takamizawa has done the same thing. They've carved a key block for this, and then they've hand painted it. So they've really reproduced as well as they could. There's the Takamizawa mark. This is the one that in the old days, this used to be your mark of quality. But at the end, it was just nothing. It was just junk. Their roots, as I mentioned before, Takamizawa's roots were in forgeries. Before they put up a business of their own with their name Takamizawa, they made forgeries for the overseas collectors who were looking for a copy of the Great Wave or a copy of a Moronobu print or whatever. So because they had roots in forgeries, their quality level was really, really, really high. And here in the post-war period, they're still hanging on. This is a reproduction of a Harunobu print. Those of you who have seen these streams before, you've heard me talk about this. The mark of Takamizawa, where the flat colors were still done in gradations. Do you remember we saw this one day? Where they did the kimono tone with a base tone first and then a gradation over top of it that left the outside edges lighter and the inside edges darker to give it more of a taste of being antiqued and aged. And that came from their roots in forgery. And this black is okay. This is not, I'm not going to use my usual expression, it's to die for. It's not. There is some striations visible here if I hold it up to the light. So this is not AAA wood buy again. This is well done, but it's not magnificent. But well done, very nicely done. That's a Harunobu reproduction. This first one was Okumura. And what's this? This is part of a diptych or a triptych. This is Kiyonaga. They've done this nicely too. This is quality Takamizawa stuff. I'm happy with this. Nicely done. Sometimes in the larger ukiyo-e prints where there's a black hair, it's the key block is done first in a light gray, then the hair mass is printed as a separate black block over top of it. These are different. This is an Oban print. The head is not big enough to justify having a separate big hair. Like this one. Listen, let me skip ahead just for a moment here. This one. Oh, zoom back out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Here. This is a light gray key block for nose and eyes, and then a separate black block for the hair. When they're big enough, you can get away with doing them twice. These ones, because they're small enough, it's all done on the same block. And this is tough for a printer. You've got to print black enough to get the hair black, and enough pressure, but without spoiling the eyes and nose. These guys have come through here. This is nice. Very, very nice. It's not as quite jet black as it could be here, and the nose is a tiny bit little thickened. So you can see the compromise between the two types of printing. But when you look at the print as a whole, these super tall Kiyonaga people, unbearably tall. Look at this. The head is, what's the head supposed to be? 6? A body is supposed to be 6 heads? 8 heads? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess it's 6, but it still looks something really bizarre. I guess they made them so thin and skinny. I don't know. It's Kiyonaga's trademark. There are people who hate that, and I'm not actually in love with it. This is not my favorite type of ukiyo-e. So what's that? That's 3. What else have we got here? 4. This one is nice. Oh, this one is nice. Look at this. It's so, the hair has come so delicate here that you can't even see where it ends. Are we going to be able to get close enough? This is nice. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. The hair here is carved, and you literally cannot see where each hair ends. There are 3 blocks involved here. There's the key block, which has the delicate hairs. There's the black hair mass, and there's a gray block underneath. And you can perhaps see it just poking out, a place like this. See the gray block underneath? The gray block, which has a fuzzy edge to it. There's 3 blocks to make a good hair mass like this. They've got the eyes lined up. Look at the bottom edge of that eye line. I cannot even see it. Takamizawa at its best. Very nice. Very nice. If I try and get closer, it just blurs out. We can do this. We can get closer. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Classic. 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 Beautiful. 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 Very, very nice. Very happy with this one. What's next? Oh, I know this one. We have now 3 copies of this one. This is going to go in the shop right away. This is a hashira-e from Shunsho. Hashira is the pillars. There's a post in the houses. We've talked in the last video about how Japanese people didn't put prints on the wall in frames, but they did have long, thin prints like this that went on posts. This also is nicely made. I am very happy with this one. Nintendo box and all. I'm very happy. Let's do a pan up here. How big is this pillar print? What can you say? There's my hand size. Do I have a scale here? I have a scale. The width is 16 centimeters by, multiplied by 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 15 plus 5. 65 centimeters tall. And I love this muted way they've done this. This is vermilion. Old days, it's real vermilion. And they've done it really, really, really nicely. Yay, this is going in the shop, Kira-san. The yellow slips of paper, this was part of the original album. The original album had a little descriptive thing about each sheet. And that's what these are. They're all written backwards. Very, very happy about this. Very, very happy. Carving the dots, there's something else about these dots, you know. These are not just white circles cut out. You know, when we have a block of solid color and we want white dots in them, we just cut out a white dot, ching, 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 and that leaves the paper visible. These are not chopped out white dots. They are chopped out white dots, but in the middle of every one is an area that is not chopped out. In other words, they couldn't just cut out the white dots. They had to cut and leave an inside part. This is no trivial deal. This is tough. And if I had time for it, I'd go over this. Did this guy miss any? Did he pop any out? It's so easy to pop out that inside bit. I don't see any missing. There's one. He missed one. Do you see it? I can't get my thumb in there. There's one. I think he missed it. He popped out the inside part. Send it back. Do it again. What a beautiful, beautiful print this is. The hair is not the same the fineness that we saw on the other print. But again, this is a single block print. Remember I mentioned before, the same block to do the black hair and the face. So when you're doing this, you can't get that extreme super feather to nothing that we did on the other print. But the larger they get, you can double up, make more blocks. What a treat this one is. What a treat. Can you see it in real size? There's the real size. Yeah, again, the image though, the face and the hands and the body proportions, they're not the same kind of proportions that we think of as normal in the West. But remember too, this is an exaggerated print to fit on that pillar. Something else, I don't have one here to show you right now, but there's a genre of prints in Japan that took this same paper, this hashira-e paper, they took the same paper and they made horizontal format prints of people. I've got a bunch in my workshop in Ome. I don't have them here to show you. But how would you do that? If you're a designer, you're faced with a piece of paper of this dimension, like this. Draw me a portrait of somebody with horizontal format like this. And they did it. You search them up. Search for Hashira-e. Go to ukiyo-e.org and search for Hashira-e and look them up. Someone's mentioning, Dave is going to open a museum. We have just, I cannot wait to do that. I just cannot wait to do that. We're going to spend the next 6 months or the next year, we're going to try and get it organized. And when the virus is finished and you guys can come back, we will be ready. And this whole room will be transformed into a display space for this kind of stuff. No, I'm not talking about landscapes. I'm talking about people. You've got to do a portrait of a person, just like this woman, and you've got to do it in that horizontal format. And they aced it. This same guy, Shunsho and Kiyonaga, those people of that era. Okay, I've got to get out of here because I literally have to get out of here today. I'm going on a quick trip to Ome. There's 3 or 4 things, one involving a sewer problem that needs my attention, and I have to get out of there. I have to get over to Ome today. So I'm going to sign off here. I'll be back 2 more days from now, carving on the same block, showing until the next batch of stuff that is coming. I have got to get out of here. Hey, it's been cool today. And actually, I usually read these chats at lunchtime, but today, given that I'm on the train for 2 hours, 2 hours, both ways, each way. Given that I'm on the train for 2 hours, there might be a chance to see what kind of conversation has been going on here. Okay, guys, thanks again. I'm out of here for 2 more days. Thank you very much. It sounds like we've had a real good time here today. Some of you. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Bye for now.